Hey everybody! Oh man, I look horrible. Okay, we're doing a little development today. I'm gonna do some cleanup. This isn't the one with the tombs. I have to think about that a little bit, but there's some basic cleanup I could do, and this is lightweight work, so I can field questions while I'm doing it. It wouldn't be that difficult for me to do that. But we're gonna be somewhere in between, somewhere in between the show and doing live development. The cool thing here is there's a bunch of stuff I haven't seen yet because everybody's been working through the night. So I'm looking forward to that too. So I'm up to date here. Oh, started off right away. Had to let it build. People are asking questions here already. They're saying, "When do you think the game will be ready?" I should do an FAQ video. I think people would probably benefit from that. We want the game to be done this year, and we're trying. We're pulling out all the stops, to try to make that work. I would love to get, well, see, every time I say a date, like I wanted it to be done in the spring, I want it to be done in the fall, but we're making progress. Everybody can hear me, right? Um, Somebody's asking if we're gonna have voice chat for the remaster. Yeah, absolutely, proximity voice chat, no question. Um, okay, let me. I actually do want to get something done here. So we put new rocks in, and I wanted to clean up the rocks a little bit. And I realized in one of the last streams is that we had a problem with the ores weren't showing up right. Actually, let me go. I'll show you the problem. Then it'll give me an opportunity to show off the world a little bit. Let's see. Usually, when I'm doing development, I usually turn the weather off. It's easier to see this stuff in the daytime. So we can add some clear skies back in. I didn't really expect so many people to show up so quickly. Wow, that's this is kind of like an informal thing. If you haven't seen this stuff yet, it's pretty cool. Like our uh, block destruction stuff. I love it. A lot of this stuff is going to go away. Like dirt and sand and things will have a different effect. Actually, this effect is already like this is a placeholder effect for our sand effect, but the blocks will have different hit effects when they're destructed. But rock, this is the standard rock one. Yeah. Is there any coal down here? Let's see. Well, first of all, you can see this. The rock turns into the wrong type of rock when we crack it. And then I noticed during the stream that I don't know, these are right. So there's a different, oh, when you break them, they're screwed up. Okay, so let's fix these. This is the first thing we got to fix. And you're going to get to see a behind the scenes here. I have a different scene that I use for testing stuff. We do this a lot in video games because we need a place to see everything all at once. And I have this little area where I can see all the rocks at once, all the blocks at once. And we call it the armory. It's a holdover from some of our other games because usually it's a place where all the weapons are there and you can try them out. This is our test map, but these now have all been replaced with a different rock texture, so we got to make sure that these are all set correctly. And I have to figure out where to do that. Oh my God, back with the donations. Appreciate that, Black Hood. Like every little bit helps us put this together for you. I'm gonna flip off one second. Okay. So this is where we define all the voxels. And in our materials, these are... No, this is not the problem that I have. Sorry, I corrected this already. The problem I have is that we have a bunch of materials that need to be corrected. And I'm hoping I can do this by myself. John set all this stuff up, and every time I go to do this, I end up having to give him a phone call. See this material here. I think this is the old one. Yeah. You know, it's funny. I thought this was going to be easy. This might be over my head. John did a really great job at setting this stuff up, but everybody in the team, you know, you have to like learn somebody else's things, and it's actually a fairly complicated system. But I could look at another one. This is a good learning experience. I could look at another one for an example. Granite is base voxel for Sol 00. Somewhere around here, I really thought there was one for... Oh, I got it. Large voxel arrays. Okay. Yes. So the rock, we have the wrong textures in here. Somebody asks if Black Hood, thank you for the donation. If Space Food tastes like taffy. I've never tried it. So this is our large texture array, large normal. Large material. And I believe I could just see 01. Two. Save that. Somebody's asking if they can run into us in like a game lobby. Like I wish I had the time to play games right now. It's like it's very difficult. Somebody's asking where we can donate at. While I'm here, I'm going to put the Kickstarter link up here. Like we really haven't asked anybody for donations. I know people are donating here, and I really appreciate it. We really need the Kickstarter to be successful when we launch it for a couple different reasons. One of them is that the money from the Kickstarter will help us do a lot of different things. And the other one is it shows publishers and fans basically that people are interested in the game. So even if you're not interested in it, following it helps us a lot. A successful Kickstarter is a really good story for a is a really good story for a publisher if we're looking for money from publishers. Okay, save this. The rock should look, okay, here we go. Rock looks different. Good, 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 good. These look the same though. So we'll have to fix each of these ores. This is a little bit tedious. So you could see now we're seeing the new rock. By the way, this is the new rock. And this is what we have right now for granite. And I'm trying to decide if I should put this in. There's supposed to be I want a different rock to appear deeper in the caves, but I want it to look significantly different. So we're trying to figure out what that looks like. Here's our limestone, which will start appearing in places too. And then I got hieroglyphs is put on top of the limestone. And that's going to make its way into the tombs. People are saying that they're having audio issues. I don't. This is sort of the same audio setup that I use all the time. So I don't exactly know what's going on. And short of a reboot, I don't know if I could do anything to fix it right now. Let's see. I could try pulling the levels down a little bit. How is this? Is this better? Does this sound any better? Yeah, it's a this is a USB mic, so I really doubt that unplugging it and plugging it back in is going to make a difference. You try. Is this any better? Is this better microphone? Tried a different setup. Somebody's asking if the game will be on PlayStation. I would like it to be. We are a registered PlayStation developer. Still having microphone issues. Okay. Let's try, okay, cross-circuiting to... How about this? How about this? Is this one any better? I've switched. This is so ridiculous. Okay. It's a software issue. Somebody's asking about new monsters, new bosses, new weapons. Yeah. Probably all three of those things. Okay, let's fix the rest of these blocks here. And this is interesting because I'm having to sort of learn as I go. This is another one, so yeah, these would probably all be I'm guessing this is coal. the one we're looking at right here. So we got to change these to the different ones. This is interesting. This, I actually have to ping John about this because this, I've never ran, I don't know if any of these are set up correctly. Oh my God, thank you for the donation. Hello, it's great to see you back today. Somebody's asking about merch. I used to make merch for myself and wear it around, and there was a time where I was selling it, but I haven't done that in a while, but I'm thinking about bringing it back. There used to be this CastleMiner Z like baseball tee I used to wear around all the time. In fact, we made merch for most of our games. Somebody's asking about the weather. The weather will change dramatically in the game. Like it'll be all over the place, and it changes based on what biome you're in. I'm pinging John right now. While I wait for him to get back to me, somebody's asking me, is there an estimate when the closed beta will start? It'll probably be really close to the time where we ship the game. Somebody's asking, what are you the most excited for the remaster edition? And the improved graphics is just like completely amazing to me, and I'm so excited to see the original game looking, like top notch. Somebody said basically, yeah, they said the game is not 50% done. The game is about maybe 30% done, and you're right. It would be more like 85 to 90% done before we did a beta. Most likely the networking would be working at the beta because it doesn't make much sense for us to test a game that isn't that the networking isn't there. Somebody's asking, will the lucky blocks be in the remaster? No, I never liked the lucky blocks. I'm taking them out. Will the remaster what will the remaster be releasing on Steam initially, and then hopefully Xbox after that if they let us? Somebody's asking if there's a way to increase the render distance. I mean, I don't know. We are not at that point in the game where we're looking at performance configurations yet. We're just trying to get everything running. Somebody's asking about different enemy types. Yeah, I think there will be different enemy types. Oh, another donation. Thank you so much, Patrick. I appreciate all of this. I wish I knew. I wish I knew how to do this stuff better. I should at least like acknowledge these in some official. Somebody's asking about the lobby sizes. I don't really understand that question. I think you're asking how many people can play in a game simultaneously, and we haven't done the networking yet, so I have no idea how to do that. Somebody's asking any advice for new game developers, and this is one of my favorite topics because I really loved the indie scene. It was like sort of like a life-changing thing for me, and my whole thing is this is an interesting thing. There's this rule of tens that say like if you do 10 things that there's a chance that one of them will be successful, but you won't know which one it is. So the trick that everybody always says is to release as many things as possible. There's an old story about a study they did where they had people do pottery, and they had one group and they said make as many pots as you can, and then they had another group that said make the perfect pot. And at the end of them doing it, the group that made many things ended up making a better pot than the other group because the act of making things actually makes you better versus thinking about making things. So if you're thinking about being a game developer, the best thing to do is release small games over and over again. Somebody here is asking basically about PvP. Again, I don't know. Like we're really trying to just get the basic game up and running before that. Let me check on. I have John spinning off, seeing. Somebody's talking about there was a loot duplication glitch with the lucky blocks. And there's a story about the lucky blocks. We had a company that was doing updates for the game. I really appreciate their work. They did good work, but it wasn't my vision for the games. And I think that going in a direction of making resources easier to get wasn't really a great addition to the game. I would have rather had more types of research, more things that you could get versus trying to make it easy for you to get all stuff that you can already get. But you know, they were working with limited resources, and I appreciate what they had done, and they put a lot of neat stuff in there. Okay, I got my answer here. So we're going to try to do this. Again. Back up through. I'm on here. I'm chatting with John, trying to understand where how this stuff is supposed to be put together. Somebody's asking when the Kickstarter is launching. I would say when we're probably at the 80% mark, when the game is like most of the features in there, it'll look the right way, and probably we don't have the networking done at that point is the place where we'll launch the Kickstarter. So probably later in the summer would be my guess. Was the original CastleMiner made on Unreal? No, it was not. It was made on our own engine that was built on XNA, and that was the only option for releasing things on the Xbox back then. Somebody's asking about the teleporters or respawn beacons. I think there'll be some version of that, yeah, in the game. Somebody's asking about player models. We get this in every single stream. We don't have the ability to put the Xbox avatars in anymore. I actually don't think that's even a thing anymore, but we can. And we don't have the resources to put a full customizable player system in when the game ships. So there'll be a new player model that'll ship with the game, and hopefully if the game is received well, we can add player customization later on. And I lost the chat. And let me see if I can bring that back. Okay, there we go. Do not understand why this works sometimes and doesn't work others. Okay. One more time. Somebody asked if there's a Steam avatar. I'm not aware of any sort of thing like that. One of the problems we have, even if the system supports avatars, I mean, I should really look into this, is that I think it's unlikely that Unreal would support avatars. So by us using Unreal Engine, I think that pretty much locks in the thing where there's not going to be able to do avatars in the game. Somebody's asking about the beta sign up. I can put the link in here. If you just to disclose this, just because you signed up doesn't mean that you actually will make it into the beta. We give out usually a limited number of these, but usually in the order that people register, excluding people who give us support. Hey Duke AR, thank you so much for the support. People were they were really heavily pushing avatar support back then, and it was one of the big features of the XNA framework. And I think a large part was because you could buy things for your avatar and there was nothing to do with them. And I'm not as familiar with what's going on. Thank you for the donation. Somebody's asking if we're adding gore dismemberment. It's possible. I don't know. I'm not against it, but it's again priorities in terms of what. What we have time to do. Cool. I got my answer here from John. So I'm going to try to fix these textures here. Let me try doing this one more time. I'm trying to pin the chat window while I do this, otherwise I totally will lose it. Okay. So these are the large. Background texture is 2, and the other ones don't change. And if we look at this, then we got coal. This is showing up the way it's supposed to. And we will save it. And take a look at it. And that is the new ore texture. And it's kind of cool because you can see them side by side right now. You can see like what rock on the ore looked like with rock on the old texture. And if you get them from a high angle, you really kind of see the difference in the textures. So let's do this. Let's go next to copper and fix the copper. But now we know how to do it, so this will be way faster. And then we just change. Save it. And we got copper fixed. Cool. We go down to iron. Oh, sorry. Wrong screen. Sorry. I'm glad I looked over in the chat. Okay. Somebody's asking about the price of the game. I don't know. Like, what would you pay for the game? Like, I don't have a really good answer for that. We're gonna fix the iron now. Oh, these are actually not fixed. I'm surprised these work. RMA, and this is 2. Save this. And there we go. Oh, and what I was saying here is that you could see these side by side, the difference between the old rock and the new rock. And you can see the difference like in the materials themselves, like how they blend in. This is like pretty cool versus this one. The old rock was pretty good, but the new rock doesn't repeat in the same way. Hey, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. The question is, will the Lantern Land be in the remake? And I've talked about this in some of the other streams, is that the Lantern Land is like such an important part of the game. It was completely a bug when it was in there. We didn't know what it was going to. We didn't make that. It just completely emerged in the game by what we have to do something out there. It's unlikely that we're just going to recreate the exact bug the way it was before, especially because it actually made the world a lot smaller than it was supposed to be. But like we'll have to pay some homage to Lantern Land, no question. I think I have to revisit these because I think I made a mistake. So I have to go back to the copper ore. This should be a 2. It won't change the way it looks, but it won't cause a bug later on. And let me make sure I did this one right. And I did. Okay, great. Let's move on to gold. That whole story about Lantern Land is very interesting because I didn't believe it when I started seeing the videos. I was like, we never made this. Like, this can't be real. And then we went out there and saw it, and then I found what the bug was, and then I didn't want to fix the bug because everybody seemed to like it so much. When you're doing game development, there's a lot of this. There's a lot of like very tedious sort of busy work like this that you have to do. It's just sort of part of the job. And diamond is the last one. There was a lot of scrap. Somebody's asking about the strong doors. I actually don't remember that, but there was a lot of stuff that was in there that we just never got to. There was a lot of somebody's asking why this was a bug. It's really hard. So I'm reluctant to like explain this because it's so boring. But we have a set of small textures and a set of big textures, and this is a index into the small textures, and the rock now lives in the big textures. So if I put this in, so I set these, and there's only 3 textures right now in the large textures, but the index is set for I'll show you here. The index is set for 14, which was the index into that old texture array. And because the rock just happens to be, I wonder if I can open this up without. The rock just happens to be the last texture in the array, because the number is bigger than the list, it's defaulting to that texture. But as soon as somebody adds another texture to that array, all the rock in the game would change to whatever that is. And we wouldn't discover that until that bug actually happened. Okay, so I think now that we have these done, I always forget if we go back to the, oops, not that. If we go back to the other map, the rocks should be, the block should, again, thank you for the donation. This is there's a reference here to the Discord community. These guys have been great. They've it's not my community, it's theirs, and they have been very supportive over the years, keeping the game going. And I want to post a link to them. I'll post that and pin it. Thank you, thank you for the donation. Somebody's asking if I have to donate to have my own EE in the game name. I don't know what EE means, so I think part of the Kickstarter tiers will end up being, having some mention in the game, like people over a certain threshold will have a mention in the game. Somebody's asking about ambient noise in the game. Yeah, absolutely. There is there's already a lot of noise in there with the weather. I don't think that this probably doesn't come over on the streams. Somebody's asking about cheat exploits. We haven't even started the multiplayer yet. Oh, they're asking for an Easter egg. Okay. I think it's unlikely that we could put an individual person's Easter egg in the game, but we could probably put something where we have like where we call out contributors to it. The problem with Easter eggs is we're a small team, and the time that it takes to put things in there like that actually takes away from other things that we could be doing. So let's see if we got this to work. This is. So if we did this right, first of all, the rock should not break and turn into a different thing. Okay, something's definitely wrong here. I am going to this may have derailed the screen. It's interesting. I don't really know why that is. Wish I could get a picture of that. Well, they're all doing it. Let me just stop and try running again. Again, thank you for another donation. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I think that I appreciate the donations here. We'll probably have an area where we call out supporters in the game somewhere. The person was asking if they could have their name in the game, and that's definitely one of the Kickstarter tiers. Yeah, it looks like that fixed it. Okay, so let's see if this worked. having like a bad, everything's not working today. Somebody's asking about when beta testers will be notified. We're not going to notify anybody until we start the beta, and it'll be over email when we do. The email, whatever email you signed up with. And then somebody's asking here about the specifics about how much they have to donate to have our names. I don't have that information yet. We haven't. I don't have the Kickstarter running. Thank you for the donation. We talked about Orland already. Something will be out there. I'm not sure it'll be exactly Orland, but I do appreciate the value of it. And the other question is, will gun attachments be a thing? I would love to go really deep on crafting gun attachments and crafting weapons. That's actually one of the plans that I have, but it would definitely be after release. And it's something that, again, if the game is well supported and sells well, there's a lot of things that we could do after the fact, and gun attachments is something. Again, thank you for the donation. Will there be accessories like a jetpack or a backpack? It's a good idea. You guys should definitely make its way to the forums. I'm guessing that probably won't happen right during the release. Somebody's asking about real-time ray tracing. This is worth talking about because the game, because of Unreal, this is one of the reasons we picked it, is that it's all real-time ray tracing. So you can kind of see this in underground areas here. I'm trying like an example of this where you fly around. Like this is actually a really good example, right? This scene of real-time ray tracing. Like these areas on the wall here are being lit by just bounce light. And when we did our tests, when we did our tests with Unity, we couldn't get this to work right, and I insisted on it for the game. Crap! Here's another one. Okay, I must have slipped and hit some zombie keys. And somebody's asking if it will dramatically increase the min spec, and I will say absolutely yes, it will. The Unreal has a way of like scaling things back, but we're targeting everything for RTX. Somebody's asking if the blocks like wood will have chaos destruction too. They'll have a different plan for each block, so they'll each destroy in certain ways. Somebody's asking if the game will only be available with real-time ray tracing, and I don't actually know the answer to that, but I know that Unreal has a way of scaling everything back, so we're going to rely on that for lower video codes. But when you make a game, you typically just sort of like decide how it's going to look, and at the end you pull everything back to lower specs. We're definitely targeting real-time ray tracing So I don't know what the fallback to the lower machines will work like, or how they'll work, and it's something we'll deal with sort of at the end of the project. But luckily with Unreal Engine it supports this. I'm going to go back to the armory and make sure all of this stuff is hooked up correctly. Okay. Oh, thank you for the donation. The person is asking about different types of ammo. That's another thing I would like to do. They're talking about Dragon's Breath ammo for shotgun. I'm actually aware of that. It's like an incendiary round that comes out of shotguns. Somebody's asking here. So yeah, the idea of having different ammunitions is something that I would like to have. Somebody's asking if we made the cover art yet. We have not made any production art yet at all. So John wanted me to check these in. And he wanted to take a look at them. Somebody's asking here about Avatar Laser Wars 3. Avatar Laser Wars is one of my was one of my favorite games to make, and I would love to see a Avatar Laser Wars 3. I just lost the chat window, so let me get this back. So this is So the story about this is interesting. Is everything kind of fell apart after Death Toll. That's a long story. Let me make sure I got. Everything kind of fell apart after Death Toll. Everybody went their separate ways and did stuff. And everybody really wants to, and then for this, by chance, everybody was able to get back together to do this. So this is like all the original people making the original game. We would love to continue to do this over and over again, just like we did in the XNA days. This is what everybody wants, and it really comes down to you guys. If you guys are supporting us enough where we can continue to do this, we can continue to do this. Otherwise, like, you know, we all gotta have to find different things to do. Wow, big donation. I appreciate this, you guys. I don't come on here to get donations. That is a large donation. Can you add the ability to tame dragons and ride them, maybe a zombie or horse? It's interesting because in Death Toll, there was horse riding in there. And I think the ability to ride things in the game, it actually fits really well into the game because the world is so big. And the world is actually bigger than it used to be. I think by about 3 times. So I would love to do that. But we have to prioritize everything in the game. So we're trying really, really hard to get this out. And I think the very first version of the game is going to be very close to what the Xbox version was, just looking beautiful. but after that, if we can support it, we'll keep adding things to the game after that. Biggest, it really comes down to you guys, the ability to do it. And the other thing that we're really worried about is that we sort of don't know how many people are still interested in this. So if it comes out and there isn't very many people interested in it, then it's going to be more difficult to support. But really, we would like to be doing it, but it's sort of not up to us. Like, it's kind of up to you guys. So spread the word. Somebody's asking about adding mod support. I'd love to add mod support. It's just, in our set of priorities, we have to put things together and prioritize things. And right now, we're just trying to get a game out of the, out. Somebody's asking if you're going to be allowed to tame stuff. That's a very, Minecraft thing. I really doubt we'll ever have a system where you can tame animals in the same way. It probably will just work differently. Somebody's asking about if the spawner blocks will return. Yes, there'll be some form of... I should have to be careful what I say here because I'm trying to remember exactly what versions we had this. I think that we had the teleporters and the locators, and those will come back. I think spawner blocks came later, and that's probably not something that we'll put back in. Another donation. Thank you so much. Somebody's asking if it would be similar to make a similar remake for CastleMiner Warfare, or Warfare brought into the remake. I doubt we'll make another CastleMiner Warfare because, to be honest, CastleMiner Warfare never did well on any platforms. It was one of the most surprising things to us. When we made CastleMiner Warfare, we all thought that game was great. We thought it was a great idea, this idea of building and fighting at the same time. And we put a lot of work into it, and it wasn't received well. It was one of the few games that wasn't received well on the Xbox, and it wasn't received well on Steam. So we probably would not do that. I'm all for putting CastleMiner Warfare mechanics back into CastleMiner Z. I think that might be interesting. Another donation, thank you very much. We're talking about Laser Wars 3 being a COD killer. I think that I could imagine doing a really, really good Laser Wars. Laser Wars was so fun to make. It was so much fun to make for everyone, and I loved how it turned out. And there was two of them. The first one was fun to make, and the second one looked great. But we would love to make a Laser Wars 3. And it would be amazing to make it with modern, like an Unreal Engine Laser Wars 3. These engines are really designed for making first-person shooters. So a Laser Wars 3 and Unreal Engine would be just phenomenal. But again, we have to be able to do it. So that's the problem. Right now, we have this very narrow window where everybody has kind of put their life aside to finish this game. And we have to kind of do everything in this window and hope that it works out for us. It's a very critical time for everybody, and everybody's putting themselves at a lot of risk for doing this. So hopefully it will all work out. Another donation, thank you. New bosses other than dragons. I would love to put lots of new bosses in. I think that for the initial release of the game, I don't exactly know what we'll have in there. I don't have any plans immediately for that, but I would love... My original thought was that I wanted the game to be like a 3D Terraria, so I like the idea of having big boss fights, but it's just sort of what we have the ability to do. If we have an overwhelming success with the Kickstarter, that would definitely open the door to a lot of these things, because we'd be able to put a lot of these things in. I'm going to throw the... I'm still waiting for a response here from John, and that we might not get it because game development typically goes slow. Again, somebody's asking about the PlayStation. I am a registered PlayStation developer. I've never shipped anything on there. We would love to bring it to PlayStation, but any of the consoles are all curated, so we have to ask their permission to be on there. I want to put the, while I'm here, I want to put the Kickstarter link up here one more time. And we're asking about RTX rendering again. I don't know if I don't know how the game is going to scale back yet. But right now we're leaning heavily on RTX rendering for the game. Somebody asked me, how do you get into game development as a career? This has changed a lot over the years. It's different from when I was younger to now. When I was younger, I went to school. I started making games when I was 5 years old. And by the time I was 20, I had made several games already. Zach Rose, thank you so much for the donation. And by the time that I went to college, I had made a bunch of games on my own already, and one of them was like a digital video fighting game that was sort of like Mortal Kombat. And then I went to school for computer science, and when I got out of school, the gaming industry kind of found me. Like, it was like they were sort of like, I went on a bunch of different interviews, and they were like, when I get into the game industry, they're like, oh my God, like, you totally belong here. So, come along. Nowadays, there's game development schools, and that's actually a really good path to get into the game industry. And but I would say that, like, you don't really need to be in a career in the AAA. I was in the AAA game industry for a really long time, and it sucks. I'll be the first one to say it. It is a suck place to work. And from what I've understood, and I think the last time I had a AAA game development job was like in the early 2000s, and it's gotten worse since then. And now the job market is really bad. So what I would say is, if you want to be a game developer, I tell people this all the time, go out and make games. Like, make indie games, release small games, and eventually you can be your own game developer. You don't need anybody's permission to do it. I think that's for the most things in life. You shouldn't look for people's permission to do things. You should just do them. Thank you very much for the donation. Any ETA on when the Kickstarter will be up. I don't want to put the Kickstarter up until the game is like 80% done. And there's a bunch of reasons for this. I want to make sure that we know sort of like where the project is and what we would do with the money at that point. And I would like we want to know what we're going to do with the money, and we would also like to be able to show off enough of the game where people could get an understanding of what the game will actually be like. So what happens in a game development is that a lot of the features that look cool are going to go in like the first couple months, and then the game will look like it's supposed to look, and then we'll have to do networking, which will just be like half of the rest of the time. So from that point on, the game will look right, but it'll be like months before we can get the whole thing running correctly. And that's the point where I want to do the Kickstarter, because that is the point where everything is like stabilized enough where we can do that. And then what you'll see in the Kickstarter videos will all be real. Like, it'll all be stuff that's real. There's a lot of questions here about like engine stuff, like RTX and physics and frame rate, and like we're just not far enough in the game to answer any of these questions. We're definitely shooting for like basically high-end hardware that would be the sort of equivalent that we would see on the Xbox and the PlayStation. Somebody's asking about how much is the game done. I would say about 30% of the game is done about at this point. Like a third. Most of the world stuff is in. We're getting the objects in there and some of the effects, and then we're going to start on the networking. Somebody asked if we are planning to add more content after release. Definitely trying to add more content after release. We have a plan for that, but again, it hinges on what the game will be like. How well the game is received after. I'm sorry, I'm reading here. I'm reading text from John here about. Yeah, somebody's asking here about the lobby size and the vehicles. These are like we haven't done the networking yet. I have no idea how big the lobbies will be, and we are definitely not going to ship with vehicles for release. Look a little weird. I don't exactly know why. Okay, let's go back to the armory. I think I got to put one of these in now for each rock. I should organize this map in a way where I could do that easily. Is this everything, yeah. And we'll turn the snap on. This is annoying. That's a little too fast. Let's just move these back to here. And change the snap. And I think I want to move everything. I should have organized these better. I think we'll do that. There's a lot of like really intricate questions that I can't like. People keep asking about crossplay. I don't. We haven't even started the networking yet. I don't. I have no. I don't know. Another person's asking here, is the world done? Yeah, pretty much. I think it's like 95% done, if not more. Somebody's asking if there's going to be hunger or thirst. I could say probably no. I don't think it fits in with the game very well. Let's see. This is. Man, there isn't like a good way of doing this, is there? Iron ore. I didn't. Should have organized these better. Gold ore. Copper ore. Coal. Diamond. Take all of those, put them into rocks. And then select everything else. And we'll move these back. Let's see, we'll do one for this, these for limestone back here. Okay. And then all of the rock textures. Did I screw that up? There's 3 in between. Yeah, I did screw that up. There's 3 in between each one. Oops. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, This is where we want everything. Okay. Let's find the granite. And limestone, that's hieroglyph? It should be limestone. Let's change this. This seems ridiculous to do, but having stuff organized makes things so much easier. And I'm very, very new to Unreal Engine, so this is, if I'm going slower than I would normally go, then I apologize for that. Alphabetizes or what? Okay. Okay, cool. And the hieroglyph is a type of limestone. Put that over here. Did I screw the spacing up still? Yeah, I did. Jeez. 2, 3. Seems ridiculous, but I don't know how I did that. Somebody's asking if you Unreal 5 crashes a lot. No, we haven't really found that out. Unity crashes all the time. Unreal, it's actually pretty rare. There's been a couple recently, and there was one that was during the stream, but I could probably count the times on one hand that I've had Unreal crash. And a lot of times on the streams, I wonder if it's because I have a lot of other stuff going on inside the computer at the same time. I don't know why everybody has such a bad impression of Unreal Engine. It's definitely a more professional engine than Unity was. Developing games in Unity was absolutely horrible. I would rather. It depends. If it was simpler games, I guess I would probably do that. I guess the games we made in Unreal Engine were very complicated. That into granite and limestone. Move those up to limestone blocks. And again, let's just feel like this is It's fun watching me reorganize a test map. This is kind of funny. Okay. This is good for me too because it also gets me used to working in Unreal. Because it's not what I'm used to. Let's see, we could probably pull... I've tried to get natural materials in one place and unnatural materials in another. This is like OCD. This organization is bothering me right now. I think I want to move this one over to here. Move Palm. Palm over here. There's two types of wood in the game now. Not exactly sure what I'm going to do with it. The palm trees have a different texture than the logs do. So many people expressing how much they love the game. You don't realize how special that is to us doing this because, the reason we do this, gold looks cool. Gold walls, like nowadays, it's like they're all reflective and stuff. These are another, but the the reason you do this is because you want people to play and love your games. So the fact that we did that for people is kind of amazing. This is one of the things that Unreal does for us. Is gives us these great materials. These are way different than the original ones. Like here's the gold wall, here's the iron wall, and the copper wall is kind of a play off on these. The diamond wall we haven't changed yet, but I think I will at some point. You know what I could do is I could take all these three. Just trying to eyeball these. I don't know why I keep eyeballing these things wrong. It's funny. This is kind of cool because it lets you see all the blocks in the game. Leave all the walls together. And we can take these, move them over here. Take a couple seconds to answer some questions here. Again, people are asking about the release. We're hoping to release this year. Somebody's asking about avatars. We've addressed this several times. We can't, it's not possible for us to put avatars in the game anymore. Somebody's asking if we have good computers at the game company. Everybody works at home, first of all. We don't have a company where we all sit, but everybody typically has really good computers because the computers don't, the games don't run very well until you optimize them, and usually optimize them at the end of the thing. Somebody's asking about Xbox Game Pass. I actually don't know how that works. I have to look when I go in to do the indie thing, or the ID at Xbox. I'll have to learn more about how that works. Just shuffle these around. And I will save this. Let's just save all. touched everything. Hey, we started this around 4 o'clock. Are we really like 2 hours into this right now? Yeah, okay. I don't know, there's still people here watching. I'm just amazed that people want to sit here and watch me shuffle blocks around. We're going to replicate all of these. Duplicate. And duplicate again. Oh, I should have. Oops, let's go back. So we'll take those and we will put them into granite. And then we'll duplicate them again. And we'll put those into limestone. I keep losing the chat. It's funny. This is a Unreal issue every time. I'm surprised I haven't lost the stream. Every time I do a save in Unreal, it blows out the chat window. So I think what we're going to need is materials for each of these. Coal, voxel, gold. I'm missing one, yeah, iron. And duplicate. And put those into granite. And then I'll move the granite over there. And I'll do the same thing with the, again, and I'll duplicate, and I'll throw those into here. Along with limestone. And then we have to change the materials on all of these. So this is easy. We just make these 1, 0. Duh. I just open all of these. Hold on a second. Open, edit. There we go. 0, 0, 0. That's a different one. 0. Save everything. Save all. We should probably rename these something that makes sense. Thank you for the donation. The Kickstarter will be up probably later this year. Just click the thing and sign up for it, and you'll know you'll get notified when it opens up. Appreciate the donations very much. This one is renamed. That was a mistake. Okay. Okay, let's see how these work. I think I can just do this. Yeah. And I'm curious, this is the first time I've actually seen how these look together. Down there, and this is our new decal, like it's our overlay system, we call it, that lets us do this really easy. And I don't know, I like them. Like this is it looks good. I'm really curious to see how these look on limestone. So we'll go and do this same thing for limestone right now. Okay, let's do a save all, which means I'm probably gonna lose the chat. And let's do the limestone. Somebody's asking here about the music and AI use in the game. We did a really long thing yesterday on that in the stream, and there's a lot of evolving stuff that's changing with that. So it's going to be hard for me to talk about this while I'm doing this, and it keeps changing. The short of it is that we are big supporters of AI. One of the people on our team is a industry leader in AI, and one of the things that AI lets us do is it lets us compete with big game companies in a way that we never historically could do that before. The flip side of it is that I think that the album was like the vocal tracks from the album were never going to make it into the game. They were going to be for like YouTube videos and things like that. And the only thing there is the stream. And with all of that said, up to this point, we have not, there's nothing in the game besides, the music's technically not even in the game yet either. There's nothing in the game that's AI generated, so it would be a disservice for me to like say that there's AI stuff when there isn't, because there isn't, especially since everybody has like hand worked on this so far. So it's, but you know, from here to the end of the project, I don't know what's going to happen. If we get, for example, if we get a very big, if the Kickstarter succeeds, then, you know, we have the ability to do more things. So that will sort of affect the way that we get things that we get things done. But ultimately, there's like 3 of us, and we have a very, very, like every day that goes by for us ends up having an effect on everybody. There are 4 of us working on the game right now, and we sort of have to take advantage of any sort of technology or advantage that we could take care of. And I think what I said yesterday was that a lot of people associate AI. I think there's 2 objections, and one of them is that it's they have ethical issues on it, which is a kind of a problem because it's sort of like everybody, it's available to everybody right now, and we don't have like the luxury of, you know, deciding what the world does and how the world is changing. And a lot of these AI tools are embedded like deeply now inside of development tools like Photoshop and Unreal and everything. That are all like there's AI stuff to like built all the way down through the chains of them. In fact, one of the people who worked on CastleMiner Z ended up going off and being responsible for a lot of the AI stuff that's built into Unity right now. And Unity has some really amazing AI tools in them. And we're all looking at this in the industry thinking it's a very revolutionary technology that has the ability to sort of change and let us do way more than we were able to do before. But up to now, there just hasn't been a reason to use it yet. Like there is nothing in the game where we've had to do it yet. And if we had a bigger budget, it would probably be even less likely that we would do that. I'm going to rename these the same way, which I know isn't exciting to watch, but we're going to. I wish there was a faster way to do this. When you're making games, naming stuff properly ends up being important because it's so hard to find things, especially when you have thousands and thousands of assets in the game. I want the 1 at the end of this name. Are we all here? Are we all ranting about AI right now? Yeah, like having a heated argument about it. Somebody's asking if we use Maya. We used to use Maya. I've used all the packages except for Blender, and we're using actually Blender right now. Somebody asked here, it's an interesting question. Said, wouldn't the use of AI cut jobs and make it harder for people to get into the industry? Historically, technologies like this haven't done that. And it's funny that you say that because I was I had dinner with a game artist a couple nights ago who's a friend of mine and somebody I've known for like years and years and years. And you would think that the artist would be upset about this. And he actually felt the opposite. They were working on a game where they're a 2D game where they were using a lot of AI to do stuff. And they basically have the same amount of artists, but they're doing 10 times the amount of content that they could do before. And what he was saying is he had a frustration. He said that, I'm frustrated that people are so upset about this because the reality of it is that we'll just be able to do less. And I thought it was really interesting because I really thought he was going to be the opposite. I thought he was going to be like upset because, they were taking jobs away from artists, but it was the opposite. He really felt like, I need to do this on the bottoms and the tops of these. And I probably don't have, these are screwed up too. Okay, so we gotta fix all of these. The thing is that the world is changing rapidly right now, and AI is it's the quickest growing technology. If you guys don't know, I had just gotten done founding a AI company, and it's the quickest growing technology that ever has happened in history. And it's amazing how the industry has embraced it. The industry is like the companies who make the engines have like embedded this in all of their engines, and it's embedded in Photoshop now, and it's sort of like it's happening in places where you don't even realize it's happening. So it's like things that you're doing that you're not even aware that AI is sort of working under the covers. So it's kind of happening everywhere anyways. And to be honest, it's really amazing technology. We in-house here, I work on a AI coding tool, which is like a cutting edge coding tool. We haven't been able to use it on this project because it doesn't work very well with Unreal with their blueprint system. I probably should fix, here's like me being lazy, so I should probably fix the bottoms of these two. Because I think the bottoms have separate materials on them. But the stuff that it can do is really amazing, and what it lets us do is just do more stuff. Like it does work like that. Yeah, there's the wrong ones underneath. Okay. It lets us just do like it's like literally like 10 times the amount of work that we used to be able to do in the past. Somebody's asking about the dragons. I really don't know what the answer is yet. I mean, the dragons are a core part of the game, so we have to do something cool with them. Now, let me stick all these on the bottoms of these. There's probably some faster way to do this that I'm not aware of inside of... I'll be honest, I wish I could have an AI doing this for me right now, because this feels like such a waste of time. Like this is just our test level. Drop these to the ground. I'm really curious. How this looks, because this is the first time we've seen, like, you're seeing it live here. The first time we're seeing like a radically different rock with ores in them. And to be honest, it's pretty badass. Like, I think that you kind of get a really good look from the top when the light reflects on them. It's really great. So what I'm going to do here is I'll clip back out of here. I'm going to save this here. I'm going to quit Unreal, go back to just get a fresh load up here. And then I'm going to run through the world because I think some people wanted to see the world. And then I'm going to end the stream here. So if there's any questions in the that you guys want to ask before you do this, you have a couple minutes here to do that. And we've been on for over 2 hours, so I need a break myself. Okay, let's back to this. Remember to switch the cameras. Oh, these look way better now. That's funny. They were like blurry before. And that all seems like it's working. The ores are working. There's a little spot, a little corner here. I think this is it. We use the same level over and over again for tests. I don't remember now where it is. Nope, that's not it. Worlds are way, way deeper. And we got some cool stuff coming down the pipe. Here, this is a good example of real-time ray tracing right here. So we're in this cave, and the light's coming down from this cave into this spot, and this whole area is lit up. If I put a zombie out there, you'll see the same thing. Like the zombie will be lit up by the bounced light. And then this area is all kind of bounced light too. It looks really cool. It looks really good. Like this screenshot right here. That's what it's all about. Make sure I told you guys I would answer the chat, and now I'm not answering the chat. Somebody's asking if the remaking the game with today's stuff is easier. That's a really difficult question. It's actually probably harder, but we can do more stuff. Like that's, I think, the best way to do it. It's like it's definitely harder to do things here than it was in our XNA engine, but we can do like way, way more stuff. XNA didn't provide you anything really. Somebody's asking if there's ray tracing support on Xbox. I don't have enough information to answer that, but I'm assuming that Unreal works the same on modern Xboxes than it does on we're going to follow the debris down. Here we go. It's funny. That it does on the PC. Like I would have to believe that Unreal here we're seeing some lava down here. There was some comment on one of the videos about the lava causing lag. The lag you're seeing in the videos is usually for other reasons. The lava, it's just two textures. This isn't a high performance thing. This is a really, really large cave opening. Oh, I fell. Okay. Somebody asked if we're going to add sound effects to the game. Absolutely not. It's going to be a completely silent game. One of the things we're doing now is we're trying to figure out the lighting in the cave. This lighting is temporary. This actually should be dark. And the only lighting we have right now are lanterns. If I turn this off, I can throw lanterns down. But we can't. We're relying too heavily on this lighting right now, and we're gonna be putting some other stuff in. But one of the things you can't really appreciate is like the big areas that the caves have now. There's stalactites and big gaps and crevices and all these different neat features. We did a lot of work. There's actually a video that you can watch online about the caves. Somebody keeps saying, is there a way to look at the world in Unreal Engine? We're in Unreal Engine, so I don't really understand that question. Somebody's asking if there's going to be decorative blocks. In general, I'm against adding blocks that don't have gameplay elements to them in CastleMiner, so they have to have some sort of function for this to be in here. This is cool. Like, you're seeing kind of like the complexity of the caves down here now. I think I've been in these places before. Like, there's big chasms with lava coming down. There's water in the caves too, which is a little bit harder to find because it doesn't light up. Like, here's a nice, another long, here you go. This is a nice long chasm with water and lava inside of it. I'm trying to not touch the lava because we don't have any damage in yet. It's cool, like the water is coming from up. This is a big fissure. Here you go. Like, this is an example of a room with a big fissure. So there's a big fissure that comes down, the water pours all the way down through this and down into like a lower chamber down here. There's more waterfalls down here. Making somebody asked if it was challenging for us to make CastleMiner in the original Xbox, and the answer to that is unbelievably yes. It was very difficult. And the flex that I want to make here is that we shipped with Infinite Worlds, and Microsoft, you know, Minecraft did not. And that was actually one of the most difficult problems to solve on the Xbox, was to get the Infinite Worlds to work. And here's the new hell, if you haven't seen it yet. Like, let me turn the light off. We did it. There's a video where we did this. We got the stalactites in here. There's lava coming down from the ceilings, and here's the new lava pools. So definitely a big upgrade from before. And I think here is a good place to stop. I'm going to try to answer any plans for more realms or biomes. Yes, but I don't know what's going to ship with the game. Somebody's asking about buckets. Probably not. There'll probably be a different way that works. We're not going to just copy Minecraft features. Somebody's asking about the ores glowing. That's an interesting idea. It would be easy to do. Somebody's asking if it's possible to make it backwards compatible on Xbox One, the old CastleMiner Z. It's not really possible. The only way that we could do that is to remake the entire game, and we are remaking the entire game. So this is the version that's going to be on the Xbox. Somebody's asking how long this has been in development. We started in December. Oh, another donation. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Somebody's asking us what inspired you to come back and remake the game after all these years. I've wanted to do this for a long time, but it's been really hard to get the people together to do it. And without getting the people together, it really isn't the same thing. And really, there was just luck. Like, everybody all of a sudden, you know, was available at the same time. And it was like, this is something we got to do. So I feel like it's important to for us to do this. Okay, I appreciate you guys showing up. This was a long stream and it wasn't very interesting, very interesting. But I always appreciate when you show up for these things. It's really supportive to us. It helps us. Coming to our channel helps us in a lot of ways. And we'll be doing a new one soon. I want to put tombs under the desert. And I need to plan that a little bit out before I do that live on a stream because I'm not exactly sure how that's going to go together. It's like a brand new type of thing we're making. But I'm excited, and thank you for everybody, and definitely thank you for the donations. I mean, I don't come here for donations, but every little bit helps, and I just have so much gratitude towards this. Thank you so much. You guys have a good night.